Be willing to change when presented with new information. And I have new information. Hold on 1 second. My son is watching Mickey Mouse. So if y'all hear that, mind your business. Big you okay, buddy? I write. I journal. I write my thoughts. I'm a writer. I just don't want anybody to say, you never said that. And I also want to be able to look back on some of the things that I thought. And if I did change, I want to be able to say, you thought that? You know? This reads, I don't speak without construction. Anything I say is rooted in accountability and development. I just want to go ahead and put that out. I don't speak without construction. Anything I say is rooted in accountability and development. All right? Really what we're up against is the culmination of so much confusion, trauma, and neglect, conditioning, abandonment, and fear, variables like that the human mind can't process all of that efficiently at once. So it registers through different lenses depending on the framework people use to interpret reality. Play this in slow if you have to, because I'm not going to be doing too much repeating, but that was a message. If you're spiritual, it looks like evilness and dark energy. If you're psychological, it looks like depression and anxiety. And if you're looking through a sociological lens, it's generational poverty and addiction. Okay, religion, philosophy, politics, and medicine. All those are different lenses that people use to interpret reality. This may create, though, the point of this is what I want to tell you is that this may create cognitive dissonance and eventually arrested development. For those that don't know what that is, in simple terms, cognitive dissonance means no matter how much truth is presented to you, if you don't want to believe it, you ain't going to believe it. Therefore, which results in arrested development, we got grown-ass babies, in a sense. People who graduated when Drake dropped Nothing Was the Same, so that's the only album they ever listened to. You get what I'm saying? That's arrested development, all right? There's a lot of people that, just as I said that, you probably was like, that nigga got arrested development. This ain't to weaponize and use against people. I am trying to put stuff in front of you so that there is no excuses. You can be like, oh, I didn't know that was a problem. Not that it's a problem, but it isn't constructive or rooted in accountability and development. Reality will eventually reveal what is constructive and deconstructive. That's positive and negative, but I hate to say that because that creates the UTFRO dilemma where people start saying, well, who gets to say what is positive and what is negative? So to eliminate that, positive is constructive, what builds, and negativity is what destroys. If it's doing either or, then reality will tell us, not you, not the person down the street. Real life will tell us what you are doing is benefiting or taking away from the community. Things like strong families, discipline, trust, community, purpose, emotional regulation, accountability, and sacrifice tend to stabilize both individuals and societies. I had to write that down so if anyone wanted like an example of what would be constructive. The first, and I made sure I wrote that first, is a strong family. We need to get back to having strong families, not multiple families, just one family. I've said that in multiple videos that a man and a woman do not need to be creating multiple families. That is not the idea of community. You are not contributing to a strong community if you, one man or one woman, are responsible for multiple families. You're stretched too far and thin. You can't be a part of the community. It goes without saying, but modern culture struggles amplifying this because the constructive values that I've just said, if you aren't in that, then it sounds judgmental. It sounds authoritarian. It sounds intensive or insensitive. That's the word. Intensive and insensitive. It sounds like I'm just being hard and rude. You know, that if you're a man that created multiple families, then you ain't shit. But I'm not saying that. You get what I'm saying?